Hey y'all, hey.
Hey y'all.
Look, welcome back. See,
We back.
what is this? What's this? Season 3? Season 3 and a half.
Season 3 now.
Oh, is it season 2 and a half? Or 3 and a
Season
half?
3. Season
Anyway, welcome back to That's Right. Season 3. Go back and watch season 1 and half of 2.
Pre-teasers, unplugs, all that.
We did a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
All right, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Alisa.
And we are
That's Right.
your favorite sister podcast. Okay, so we could say like, oh, what have you been doing, Lisa, since the last
That's
season?
unplugged.
But we cannot say that because we've been doing Unplugged. Hope y'all been watching Unplugged. Unplugged's been getting some good traction. Y'all really have been on there kind of loving us. Y'all wanted the content, we came with the content. But now we talked about, if y'all watched Unplugged, we were like, oh my God, we're gonna have this fancy new, crew filming us, production crew. We're all excited about it. They're here, we're recording, and it's on, right? Okay, we're gonna jump right in because also as well, I learned how to read like YouTube analytics, and I realized some of y'all not watching more than 7 minutes of the show.
Oh my God.
So why they not watching more than 7 minutes of the show? So we're gonna try to get everything in. First 7 minutes.
We can do this.
I love you. You look beautiful.
I love you too.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Hello, Crystal and
Do you see the
Alisa.
shirts?
Wait a minute, quintessential black girls.
What do I have on?
Look,
That's right.
that's right. Look, go back. Is this quintessential black girls? Yes.
Yes.
Quintessential black girls. If you go back to season 1, we talk about what being a quintessential black girl means to us. So go check it out. Okay, that was enough intro.
Yeah, that's enough intro, I think.
So today, Lisa,
Golly, what are we talking about, sis?
we are divorcees.
We're divorcees.
Wait, are y'all feeling the short hair? Y'all see this short
looking
hair?
good. Looking good.
Came into season 3. Look, what's it?
This is a new look for you, for real.
Rip me out the plastic.
I can.
I am old as, look, for real.
Shout
I
out
don't
to
even know
Cardi
any
B
other
and,
words than that part.
Mulatto.
Mulatto. Don't do that. Don't get us canceled. Oh
Okay,
my
sorry.
God. Okay, focus.
Okay.
We are talking today about, so we're both divorced. Also, I'm remarried, and my sister is in a long-term relationship.
Going through some things.
Okay. Well, this is not therapy. She is in a long-term relationship. So today we're going to talk about what it's like, to be remarried after divorce. So y'all know my story, all the season 1, the fake season 2 we did, it's the real season 3. I got married real young, 20 years old, because I was knocked up. 20 years old and knocked up. And my boyfriend of 2 years was like, well, if we're going to be pregnant, we might as well, if we want to have a baby, we might as well get married. So what did I do? Got married. And I didn't want to be, look, take it how you want it. I didn't want to be no baby mama, for real. And I remember we went to premarital counseling, all of that. My mom was like, yo, you don't have to get married to this guy, because something happened and she was like, what if you have a miscarriage? And I was like, I would be so pissed off that I got married. And my mom was so alarmed.
Oh my God.
She was like, wait, what? Then you don't need to get married. Then I was all like, oh my God, no, I love him. And I did love him. But can you imagine being 21? Well, I was 20.
Yeah.
And knocked up and getting married and trying to be somebody's parent.
Very young.
It is crazy young. And so it didn't work out, obviously, because I got a divorce 7 years later, 7 years after marriage. At 3 kids. I had 3 kids by the time I was 25.
Ooh, girl.
3 children. Now, I raised them well. They're amazing kids. But I remember when I got married and young people my age were like, I was a virgin that was my first. So I married my first and people were like, oh, you're going to get so curious. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, he's great. Let me tell you a thing or two.
Thought you knew it all.
Didn't know nothing. Because now I know. But they're like, you're going to get curious. All this stuff. And so we got married. I graduated college. We were both in school. I graduated. He didn't graduate. But I tried to support him and he tried to support me, and he had a really creative career. He was trying to pursue a creative career. And that gets hard because I'm working a regular job, a regular career, making the money with 3 children. And his career required him to be out at night and all of that. And he was also 24, 25, 26. So he's hanging out trying to get on, and I'm sitting at home with kids and my lights off because we couldn't afford to pay our bills because he was not helping me with the finances. But now that I'm as grown as I am and I look back, I'm like, did you really expect a 26-year-old person to be able to help, to be a man? Mm-hmm. And he wasn't raised with a father or anything like that. So it was really hard. And I remember there's a T.I. song, and I still gonna look lyrics up. I'm trash. Y'all know I'm trash. But where he says, you know, he's having an issue with his dad, and he's like, but you know, you was like 17, trying to raise a family, trying to be a man. And that's how I look at that. Like, he wasn't young, but I'm like, no, like and I don't think he asked me to marry him, but like, he was trying to figure out life. And so now I can look back, and while I feel like I was in a financially abusive relationship because he just wouldn't support us. And he was like, you know, we would spend a little money on clothes so he could go do his thing. And then he'd go behind my back and spend our bill money on more. And he's like, I can't show up with the same clothes. I can't show up with the same things because it's going to look like I don't belong here. And at 45 or 44, however old I am, I get that now. I didn't, you know, we had to do something. He had to present a certain way. But at 22, and I was the only one working, making $30,000 a year with 3 children, or I guess I just had one at that time, and my lights are getting cut off, and I'm driving a car that I was paying weekly on. Ooh. This is so embarrassing. Yo, I was so broke, dog. I had a car, so we had like gotten our cars repossessed. It was a whole thing. And then you can go to like buy here, pay here lots. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have.
Where you pay weekly?
I have.
And they turn your car off?
Yes, definitely have.
Have you ever been in that situation?
No, sorry.
Let me tell you a thing or two.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So I did. That was my life. And so I just got tired of it. And I remember calling his mom, and his mom was like, yo, you gotta leave him. He's never gonna change. You will have spent your entire youth with this man. And so I gave him a year. I was like, you know, get it together. He didn't get it together, and I left. And then I started wilding. Like, when I left him, I realized you were never ready to be married. Like, at some point you were, let me say, I started to break a little bit in the marriage. Let the truth be told. Because I did some horrible things. I do not want to paint this man, a picture of this man and say, oh my God, it was so horrible. I was so great. No, baby. I took him through some things because I was young and a mother, and it's just hard. And so we got divorced. And then we got divorced, and then, y'all know I'm talking.
Well, everybody know you by now.
But when we got divorced, I went out here. I had a good time doing a lot of things that I should not have been doing. And I said I wasn't going to get married again. I was just like, nah, like, it's not for me. And even though I was like mad young, I was just like, I don't want to be in this place ever again. And so, but after like kind of being hot girl, I was like, yo, I want to be in love. Like, I found, let me say this. The reality is, it wasn't after being hot girl. I found God again. Like, cause you know, y'all know my story that I didn't believe that God existed for a period. And when I came back to the space where, you know, I was like, oh no, like where God met me face to face, I was like, no, God is love and I want love. And that's really what happened, is that I was like, I don't want to say I felt a void because, that's so cliche. It sounds so stupid. But there was not love there. And so I had the love of God, but I wanted to be married again, you know? So I prayed about it. I had to stop sleeping around, doing the things that I was doing. Right. And, you know, I took my little vow of celibacy, and then God showed up. Y'all know the story. He showed up. I met my husband, and it was different. You know, it was different for me in that he took care of me. He was a grown man. Like, grown man, took me and my 3 kids in, didn't have to work, none of that. So everything that I was missing in my 20s, in my 30s, I met a man who just came in and was like, I got you. You know, and so, but that's when you let God do it, when you're not doing it reactionary, and when you are just focused on being the person that God called you to be. I think it comes together. And so, I mean, that's my story. And you know, I guess as the season progresses, we'll talk about my life with my new husband. But I felt, because I got married so young, I felt such a freedom. When I got divorced, I was, y'all, baby, I was out here doing some things. And so, but then in the midst of doing those things, I didn't think that I would want to ever not do those things. Yeah. And then when I met my husband, or before I met my husband, when I took the vow of celibacy, I was like, I I did that. I absolutely don't need to do those things. I just want to be in love. I want to share the love that God has given me with somebody. And so I know that, and y'all know I practice family law, so I get divorced every day. And when people come through, especially young people, and they're, 25 getting a divorce, I'm never getting married again. It was so horrible. And sometimes I'll tell my story depending on the client. And I'm just like, it feels horrible. It feels like nothing is worth it, right? Like it took so much of my life. It's not worth it. But I equate my desire to be married again with my desire for God. And so it's like, I want, this might sound so stupid and cliche. But I want that like manifestation of love, like that very tangible thing. And I have that in my husband.
You wanted that, and that's what you have now.
And I have that now in my husband, who gets on my nerves every day. So that's not y'all have watched how we had to go to marital counseling, marriage counseling and stuff. That's how much he's on my nerves. But I still feel like that's the man that God sent me. And I still feel like I got there because God wanted me to be there. And so anyway, Lisa, tell me your marriage and remarriage story. Keep it clean and cute.
Marriage and remarriage story, so correction.
Oh, keep it cute.
Definitely gonna keep it cute. So yeah. So the guy that I met, and we've been here before, so we're gonna sum it up, y'all. Make sure you go watch the other season so you kind of catch up. But the guy that I met him at 18. So I was very, 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 very young. And we met when I felt like I was just boss chick, right? We were working at MCI. It's a telecommunication place.
Oh my God. My ex-husband worked there.
Why did I know that? Are you serious? Yes.
Super not kidding.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Back then, 20 something years ago, that place was popping. Like
Yes.
that was the place to be. Like the culture was really good. Money was really flowing. And I was 18, so I really just felt like I was doing something at that time. But the guy that I met, we were in the same training class together. And this story is crazy. And I think I might have explained it before, but
I do not remember any of this.
Okay, so in the training class, it was, our culture. It was females, of course, and a lot of men in there. And he was the only one in the class really that wasn't really paying me any attention. A lot of guys was in there. I had a lot of options up in there. A lot of guys was in there gawking and everything. And he was the one just every day he'd be like, if you need something, let me know. And everybody else just like, hey, trying to, sorry, I'm in your space.
You're a little bit in my area.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, anyway, so, that interests me a little bit. And at 18, he was the only guy that his appearance was really nice to me. He always wore slacks and a nice dress shirt or a suit. And at 18, I'm like, I wanted to check that out a little bit. He's 1 year older than me. Yeah, so we were 18, 19. Like, you don't really get too many, 18 or 19-year-olds walking around with slacks and suits and things like that. So I'm like, I might hit the jackpot. Let me see what that's talking about. So
was he a trainer or was
he was in a training class with me?
So he wasn't a trainer.
He wasn't a trainer. We were all in the same training class together. It was a fun, interesting training class. Anyway, so we made it through that, and we actually worked for 3-4 years at this company. With no issues, no drama. Some kind of way, we were riding to work together. It just felt like it was meant to be. And so fast forward, like maybe 10 years on down the line, of course, in any relationship, especially when you're young, you're going to have your issues. You're going to have your little drama. Fast forward, and, we had 2 kids. And by that time, it's like, we have kids, so what are we going to do? So he decides to propose. Of course, I say yes. But we're still young. We have not, meshed out all of our issues, meshed out all of our problems. But because we had kids, let's just go ahead and do this. So
this is an ad for birth control.
This definitely probably sounds like it. So yeah. So we get married. So we go through counseling, and really, I don't think that I took counseling as serious as I should have, being the age that I was. I really felt like I've been with this dude for 10 years. There's nothing that you guys could really tell me that I don't already know or that I can't do. So I didn't really take counseling serious. I actually I felt like they was giving me homework, and I was doing too much. I didn't have time to be taking no worksheets home and filling it out and doing all.
Was it like through a church?
Yes. I was just not feeling that. I just wanted to get it over with. So I didn't really, I didn't receive whatever I was supposed to, because they said that we had to do it in order to even get married. Okay. Yeah. So I was just, going through the process.
So were you a member of the church?
No, we were getting married at the church though.
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
We were getting married at the church. And so, yeah, I didn't really take that serious. And I don't know, and I can't even say that was, this is the reason why we divorced or anything like that, but our marriage was short-lived. We were separated after we got married, and y'all know this story, but I'm just going back a little bit, within 6 months. And I think that we're young, right? I'm not gonna fault him too much. I'm not gonna blame, him for us leaving. I feel like in the situation where I am now, maybe I probably should have taken counseling a little bit more serious, or maybe before I decided to leave him, I should have seek counseling for us before I decided to leave out. But I think the challenge in my relationship with him was that when you're in a relationship, you expect to grow with someone, and you don't want to have. There's going to be challenges, but with those challenges, you want to be able to compromise and be able to have effective communication within a relationship. And over time, I felt like I was being neglected. I wasn't being heard. And I don't know if it's an Aries thing or what, but it's definitely a me thing.
Alisa thing.
It's a Alisa thing. I don't like to feel like challenged or you daring me or threatening me.
Okay.
So once I start feeling like that, then I'm like a runaway bride. And I guess that explains my situation. I wasn't in it for too long. And once I felt uncomfortable, I felt like, I'm not happy, then I kind of, I fled. And so life after the divorce was trying to get me, do me back again, because I was 18 years old, 10 years with the same guy, 2 kids. Like, I was able to do some things, but I still had a whole life to experience and a whole life to live. So I was in the mindset of, where my homegirls at? Let's go take as many trips as we can. Of course.
Did you go out and stuff during your first marriage?
Not as much.
Okay.
Yeah, not as much as all, because again, we were young and we worked at MCI. So MCI was paying us pretty good, but we only stayed there for 3 years because the commission and all that started changing. So we, of course, both ventured out and found other new jobs, but income wasn't really that good at, during that time period. We was actually really struggling with finances too, which was, part of the issue. So we wasn't taking trips or anything like that. We were making sandwiches for dinner. So again, with the mentality of I can do bad all by myself, or I just want to be happy. By the time we got divorced, I was, trying to get with my girls and just kind of trying to relive my life back again, with the respect of still having kids to have to take care of too.
Let me ask you a question. How has that, because you're not that same person. You're not a runaway bride now. I know that.
How you gonna tell me that? Sorry. I felt like I was a runaway bride in my first marriage, and moving forward. What I do think that I could have done better, like I said, is go through counseling. But I feel like for myself, I was making executive decisions for myself. I was walking by sight and not by faith. I didn't have the Lord in my in my presence at that time. Lisa was just doing whatever she wanted to do however she felt. And I think I'm still struggling with that. Like, even fast forwarding, leaving him and meeting someone else, and then moving into another relationship, not married, but moving into another relationship and being with the same person for about 15 years. I feel like I should be waiting for the Lord to tell me who it is, give me some inklings of who it is, instead of just kind of jumping into relationships so fast. I know one of the episodes we were talking about, like, even like vetting people out, understanding their background, their history, you know, if they, you know, came from a background of two parents, or even what their ambitions is, what their goals is. I think for me, I'm going by sight, you know. So last situation I described with my ex, the one I was married to and got a divorce, I looked at his appearance. I looked at, you know, his suits and how good he looked, and judged everything based off of that. I just thought that he was the one. And so.
And it wasn't just like physical appearance. It was like, it made you feel like he had it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't asked the Lord. I said, I know this. I got this. Oh, he right. I'm okay. I got this. And so, same thing moving into my second relationship, been in this relationship for 15 years. And so with this situation, I felt like I knew that he was the one, because it was a void that he felt, just a void, just one little void. And I was vulnerable. I was good and I was okay. But he was a lot more, I would say, just like attentive to me, in certain areas, and aspects of life. And of course he was handsome and good looking. So again, I'm just going by sight instead of really just saying, Lord, take the wheel and let me know when it's time for me to start dating, or let me know if this guy is the one. Because I think that even like moving forward, like if I become or get into the next relationship, I'm not going to just jump into a relationship like that. I really think I'm going to take your advice and go celibate, just try to figure it out. You know, God, just let me know when it's time for me. Because I don't think that I've really had a real break, you know, just really to myself. So I think that that's what I would need when I move into, you know, my next relationship or whatnot. I'm going to follow by the faith of God on this one. Not to say too much, you know, I'm going in circles a little bit because there's a lot going on season 3. It's a lot going on.
I love you so much.
I love you too, sis. I love you too. You know, it's a lot going on.
I do. And I just want to say, like, even following God. So my husband and I know my husband. I wrote my husband. You know that. I wrote a whole story about this man. I went before the Lord, and y'all know that. I really just want y'all to go back to season 1, but I know y'all lazy also. So
don't be lazy.
You know that my story is that I took a vow of celibacy, and the Lord promised me if I took that vow of celibacy in a year, I would meet my husband. That was October 26, 2012. I met my husband October 12th, 2013. And it was after having written him. Like it was like God was not giving me, I'm like, Lord, where is the man? The year is coming up. So like September of 2013, I went before the Lord. I was like, yo, can I just write about love? Like, is that something I can do? Because I don't have anyone loving on me. Like, I couldn't even date. It was real, real bad. And I wasn't really depressed. I just wanted to be loved, right? Physically. Yeah. Like, let me tell y'all something. For those of you who want to be in a relationship and you're struggling with, you know, well, I love God and that should be enough. Let me tell you about your girl. You don't love God more than Crystal Wright love God. However, like, I wanted the touch of like a man, not even a sexual thing, but just like something about love being tangible to me. I wanted that in a mate. Mm-hmm. And I told you, like, I would go out and I would see people holding hands at the market, and I'd be like, oh my God, I bet they're so in love. Whole time, they probably fight when they get in the car. But for me, like, I just wanted that. And so I don't want you, don't let anybody make you feel bad about, oh, if you really love God, you wouldn't be wanting a man. Let me tell you something. God looked at Adam and said, you need a woman. He said, I give you all these animals. You need a helper. So don't let someone make you feel like because you desire to be in a relationship, God is not enough. He's always enough. But he designed this world the exact way that he designed it, and there are mates. So, and also if you don't want to get married, I'm not trying to, no shade. So, I'm trying to make sure we don't get canceled. She said if you ain't got no man, God don't love you. That's not it. Because you know what Paul said. I'm going to start reciting the word of God right now. No, but, oh my God, I lost my train of thought thinking about Paul. because he was
You're
saying,
supposed to recite.
yes, because his position was like it's better to be alone, but people can't handle that, right? And so that's why God allows you to come together and have a relationship. And so, in to you I say, and it is not therapy nor advice. I'm about to cry.
We're not about to be crying on this
No, don't do
episode.
this.
We just
So-
getting started. Don't do that.
Okay, just move on. You wanna move on? I love you.
I love you too.
I do love you, and you know that I know that God gave me your brother, right? Like here you go. Here, like y'all, and please watch the episode. But I like wrote my husband down to the I wrote what he looked like. I wrote the outfit he had on when we first met, like mad weird. And so when I met him, I gave him the story, and I was like, yo, and he was like, that's me. I'm like, that's you. And so we knew like 2 weeks into our relationship that he was my husband. And but that was not that. This is the man God chose for me. Whole time we found ourselves in marriage counseling, right? Like the whole time we have found ourselves needing help. And so for people to say, people say, well, oh, like if God calls him, it's gonna, baby girl, I don't. If you find yourself in another relationship, you're not, and even if it's, and I know that I'm trying to be, keep it real cute.
Very strategic.
In the event you find yourself in a relationship and God has, orchestrated that thing, it doesn't come without struggle, because marriage is hard. Now, that is a thing. From the first marriage to the second marriage, now there are different struggles.
Yeah.
Like your brother ain't financially abusive. Like I came with my 3 kids in tow. He was like, yo, I got y'all. Like you ain't got to work. Like what? I'm not from that. You know what I'm saying? And there is another thing I really want to talk about. This is, if you watch a half a second, I'm never going to be able to stay on topic. But I'm going to say this. I said this to Galen the other day, and he did not take offense. My husband is a black man. He did not take offense. I said black American men are not raised to take care of women. I don't think they are. They are not raised to take care of the family. They're just not. And that's real, though. That is real. When you look at other cultures, and I'm not talking, like they may be cheating and beating, I'm there. We ain't on that. We are married. I will work. I will provide. And you will take care of the children. But and I will make sure that you're okay. That's not a thing that I believe. My personal opinion, please.
Not all black men.
No. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, because there are some. We gotta give some credit when it's due.
Generally, right? Like no, like obviously not all. We've raised our children, our little boys, or grown men, to take care of women, right? Like that's the thing. Like you come into you're dating my sons is a privilege because of the way that they were raised. Yes. But that is not the norm in our culture. It is definitely like, and even if it's not like a, it's the 50-50 thing, and I don't want to get into that, or the 60-40, whatever, but you're going to contribute. But to have, overall, not all, but to have the thought that I am choosing you, man choosing you, not you choosing him, and I plan to take care of you for the rest of your life, and take care of, not like you in here and I'm working and I got an attitude, but like I was designed to provide for you. Right? And so where I take pride in it, where I feel like this is what God called me to do. We don't got that, dog. We ain't got it.
It might be rare. And I think the ones that are like that, I think those are the ones that are following Christ.
No, really. Like they find that thing. You know what I mean? But all that said, it doesn't, even when God does a thing, it's not without challenges. And let's talk about Adam and Eve again. God did a thing, and then Eve caused Adam to lose paradise, right? Like that's just real, because it, just from the beginning of time, that's just real. And a lot of times, so I was anti-therapy for years, because also psycho-Christian. So I was very much like, God's got it. It's a spirit. Let me pray it off. I'm not even kidding. I was really like,
I believe you.
Everything.
Yeah.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because I believe you.
Okay. I believe that you phonetic. No, but I was like, okay, there is a word for everything, and I'm just gonna pray over this. And the minute I started getting counseling to understand, and one thing I learned in counseling, the counselor asked, I was very spoiled. You know that I'm very spoiled.
Yes, very much so.
Kind of spoiled, whatever. One thing I learned in counseling about myself was that, so she started asking me questions about why I feel the way I feel about my husband. I feel, sometimes he doesn't consider me or whatever. And I started going back to my childhood, and I called my brother up, and I was like, yo, talking through my childhood with him. My brother is completely anti-therapy. He's like, yo, God got it, and please get a grip. But so he was not helpful. My brother was not helpful. But then I realized my issue is my entire life, I've been it. So my parents love me, my brothers love me, my family loves me, my friends love me. They pay attention to me. If I say something is going to happen this way, it happens that way. If I say I need something right now, somebody's going to figure out how to get it for me. So it is very foreign to me for there to be a delay in a request that I've made. It is a very foreign. So the therapist, and I love her in my heart. It's just kind of like, well, part of that may have to do, you have like unrealistic expectations. No, I don't. But I do. I know that I do, but it plays into my marriage. And so we have had, hiccups based on that. But I know this is the man God chose for me. And I'm not at the door because it should be so smooth and everything because God chose that. And so that's just the advice I have to you, and I guess to people, when you're looking at getting remarried and you're looking at, first and foremost, seek the Lord.
Absolutely.
And do what he says do, because when he told me, if you take, and he ain't gonna tell everybody to take a vow of celibacy. Even though I still think it's great that you do. It was a lot because I was out here. But
you really need to do it.
It's like, yo, you really, okay, I got you, Lord. I can hold this little thing for you. I can do this little one thing. But in the obedience of it all, and it was very, very beautiful. I do think your brother and I moved very, very fast because we did know, right? Like he and I were on the same page with we're gonna get married. But I do think we should have taken it a little bit slower. But I think we would have eventually gotten there. But we've had problems from the beginning. The thing that has kept us together is knowing that he's who God sent. Yes. Had I not written him, I would have been like, I made a mistake. Father, forgive me. Where do I sign? Right. But we go back to this marriage was called by God. Yes. We don't get to get up. So we get to figure it out. Because it is, and people, I hate when that's me stabbing everybody. I hate when people are like, marriage isn't hard if you just what? You tell me what, if I just what? God is at the center of my marriage. I love my husband. I respect my husband. I want to do nothing but please my husband. However, sometimes we have problems. I know your brother loves me down. But so, he out on his way to work this morning, baby, what you need? Trying to hang stuff. I'm about to make him mad. Because we desire to please each other. And we desire to please God. But you got to desire to please God first and foremost.
Yes.
Because your desire to please, if you ain't trying to please God, you ain't gonna never be able to please me.
Oh my God.
You're never, because he gonna give you the cheat code. You're never gonna have the cheat code if you don't get that relationship right with God. And so y'all know this is your favorite Christian podcast. And that's really what I'm on. Like my first marriage, well, I knew God, I was familiar with God. I had a semi-relationship with God, but that thing fell apart because we weren't both seeking to please God in our marriage. Amen. In this one right here, baby, we are seeking to please God. We know divorce is not an option. So you're on my nerves. I'm on his nerves. So we need to go talk to somebody who can help us get off each other's nerves. Yes. And so we chose a Christian counselor. We came in saying we're not trying to divorce, and we really want some Bible-based counseling. And so that's what she doesn't go overboard. She is fantastic, but that's what she's done. And so she's given us tools to implement. We wake up in the morning, we ask each other, what do you need from me today? And so isn't that great?
I love it.
But then we define it. So he might say, I need affection. What does that look like for you? Does that look like hand holding? Does that look like kissing? Does that look like making love? What does that look like? I may say that I need consideration, and this is what that looks like for me. That looks like, thinking about me before you make some rash decision or whatever. And so, because honestly, if I'm keeping it a whole stack, my husband really doesn't know when he's being inconsiderate.
Yeah, I believe that. He
has no grasp of it. And so I didn't realize that till after therapy. Yes. I used to think it was him completely disregarding me. I don't care what you think. No, this man, it's oh no, he's so great. He sent me a text. He's I'm gonna get this right. But he was okay, he tells me his thought process. And so I'm I don't know how you arrived there. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think alike.
Yeah.
And so we're going to, you know what I mean? But the effort, and
The
it's going
efforts.
to take, you have to have someone willing to fight this thing out with you. And so if you're married, we're married and now divorced, it's hard. It's hard being single and it's hard being married, right? Like that's just real. But God, let me say, it's also worth it. It's also worth it to see my husband come home and get on his new PlayStation 5 and get so excited about the little games.
God.
And it's even when we're like, and we can be in the same space and not talk and just be so in love. And I got in my car. Y'all know I got a new car. Got in my car today. My husband, it's so funny because he puts gas in my car, and that was one of my big things a while ago. He puts gas in my car today. He was like, "You need gas?" I'm like, "I don't even look at how much gas I have because there should always be gas for me." The gas fairy. But I get in my car, and the temperature was perfect. Like, it was very perfect. And I was like, I don't know if he did this on purpose, but I felt like it. I was like, yo, he set this for me. Like, I got in here, and it was such a peaceful place to be because the small things you thought about me, right? And so God has blessed me in that, but he's also blessed me in desiring to please him, because my desire first and foremost is to make sure that I am in line with what God has called me to do on this earth. And he's called me to be good to that man. And so because of that, he can be good to me, and we can have a good marriage that is not without challenges. So if you find yourself in another relationship, I don't want you to be a runaway bride, you know. I don't want you to say, well, Krista, this ain't it, because he got on my nerves last night. That's not real.
No, it's not real.
You know, it's not. And I share things with you about my marriage, maybe more than I should, because it's your brother. But
real is real.
But like, we talk about it, and I'm very purposeful in talking about it with you, honestly, because I do want you to know, because outside looking in, y'all don't know this. Our entire family thinks my marriage is perfect. We are the dream couple. That thing drives me crazy because this brother be on my nerves. So I'm like, why does everybody think we're so perfect? I'm about to stab him every night. You know what I'm saying? But I talk to you about it because I want you to know that you can have perfection even in imperfection. And what we got, in the sense of what God calls, and the way that we walk, and the way that we want to model stability, and want to model strength before our children, before our family, before people who are looking, that's God. And sometimes that's what it looks like. But you also have to have a partner willing to do that with you.
That part.
Like, you cannot be that yourself.
That part.
I love you.
I love you too.
Are you good?
Yes.
Welcome to sit on my couch. Welcome to therapy with Crystal.
Really quick? Hold on.
Welcome to therapy with Crystal Wright. No, for real. I just don't want you seeking what the world has defined as perfection. Now, let me say this. I know your story.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you find yourself in a place, like, don't let the world define what a good marriage is for you, what a good man is for you, because sometimes it comes with struggles. Yes. And be clear. I don't think God creates struggles in marriages. I think people create struggles in marriages. But I think all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. Amen. So I believe that God can use those struggles, right? And I believe that, I'm not saying no abusive relationship. Nobody should be putting their hands on you. Nobody should be
mentally, verbally, physically.
We ain't talking about that.
None of that.
We ain't talking about that. We're talking about somebody who forgets your gummy bears, and you've told them 15 times.
Or buy you flowers when you don't like them.
Like, what? Don't start your shit. Excuse me. We don't cuss on this podcast.
You did it.
This is a question. This is a
you did it.
Podcast.
Season 3.
This is.
You did it.
Trinity. Perfection, wholeness. No, for real. So no, that's not what we're talking about. But I just want y'all to love God. That's literally all I ever want you to do. So if you find yourself divorced, like, I don't want nobody, like, honestly, seek God, because your marriage is also a testimony. It is. Right. And so you're looking about, and that's people are so, and I'm about to wrap up because we got this new crew in here that told us it's time to wrap up. So that said, but people are so self-centered, and they look at, this doesn't make me happy. I'm uncomfortable, so I'm out of here. And that's just mad weird.
It's not mad weird. See, now we about to go into the. It depends on how long that unhappiness have been going on. It's not like, okay, I'm unhappy one day and I want to get out. It's 2 years, 3 years of
I
unhappiness.
disagree.
And I'm not stating for myself. I'm just saying like the way you
And
said it.
but I disagree. Absent, like, if somebody is beating up on you and cheating on you and emotionally abusing, I'm not, Lord knows, please seek help and get out of the situation. I am not saying that. But what I'm saying is we're this whole self-care place right now, right? Everything is about, I just have to do what feels good to me. Sometimes it don't feel good.
I don't know what you're talking about. I got to do what feel good to me.
Lisa, don't.
What? It's at the end of the day, it is about you, or it's about
it's about God.
We know that, like we know that's the substance.
But you understand? Do you know?
But if there's no effort, like we were talking about, if there's no effort, then and time is going by, then you have to start thinking about you. I don't think you ever take your eyes off God. I don't think you ever stop thinking about what the Lord wants you to do. And so that's what I'm saying. Now, if you're in a situation and you've looked to the Lord, He's told you to walk away, that's one thing. But just because you're going on a feeling, baby, because it doesn't. I know I've done that.
If you go on a feeling, it don't even always feel good to follow God, but I ain't gonna stop following Him. Right? And so you can't go on a feeling. You can't be so you-centered that you miss your because see, we were all sent here. We're destiny driven. Right? And so what I'm not going to do is, because I am so me, I believe in eternal life. I am not going to be here on this earth and be so consumed with doing what makes me feel good that I miss my purpose. That I was supposed to touch Lisa, and I was supposed to touch Angela, and I was supposed to touch Richard, and I didn't, because you know what? It didn't make me feel good. And so now you have lives out there, and let me tell you something, what God not going to do is let those people just be alone, like He's going to send someone else. But you know my thing, when I get to heaven, I want God to be like, yo, you did that thing. You did exactly what I told you to do, even when it didn't feel good. Even when you felt like you were drowning, you did what I told you to do. And if your eye is on that, it don't matter how it feels in the natural, because I please my Father, and that's what I'm on. Okay. And so that's how I feel. I just feel like sometimes, and that is not saying an abusive relationship. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, before you decide,
so abusive to you is mentally or physically?
It's everything.
Okay.
So I am not saying, but I say seek God. Absolutely. Seek God before you, and I do divorces every day. Like, I am a divorce attorney. And so I don't, I take your money. This is what you want to do. That's your business. I pray for my clients and keep it moving. But I just know that some things that don't feel good have a purpose on this earth. And what I don't want to do is be so consumed with myself and how I feel that I decide I'm not going to fulfill God's purpose. That's just what I'm on. That's it. But that comes with seeking God, fully. Anyway, we got the wrap up. We got the wrap up sign. So we sure appreciate y'all. Welcome back. Season 3, episode 1.
Yeah, we back.
We back. We love y'all.
Thank y'all.
See y'all later.
Peace.